Some connections enter your life and disappear without changing much. Others leave a mark so deep that no matter how far life takes you, something within you remembers. Two people who are truly meant to share a meaningful journey may face distance, silence, misunderstandings, wrong timing, and unexpected changes. Life may pull them in different directions. They may even believe the connection is over. But sometimes, when a connection is genuine, life creates another moment of choice. This does not mean every person who returns is meant to stay. And it does not mean that destiny should be used as an excuse to accept pain, disrespect, or unhealthy behavior. A real connection should never require you to lose yourself. The one thing that often happens when two people are truly aligned is this: they both grow into people who can consciously choose each other, because love alone is not always enough. Timing, maturity, understanding, responsibility, and personal growth also matter. Let us explore 6 powerful lessons about the connections that survive distance, change, and time. Sometimes distance is not the end of a connection. Sometimes it is the moment when the truth finally becomes clear. When two people are constantly present in each other's lives, emotions can become mixed with routine, comfort, attachment, and habit. It may be difficult to understand what the connection truly means because there is no space to reflect. But when distance appears, silence begins to reveal what constant closeness could not. You begin to notice what remains when the messages become less frequent, when the familiar routines disappear, and when life no longer places that person in front of you every day. This is when you must ask yourself an honest question. Do I truly value this person, or am I simply afraid of losing the comfort they gave me? Distance can reveal the difference between genuine connection and emotional dependency. A real connection does not mean that you stop living your life while waiting for someone. It does not mean chasing, begging, or holding on to someone who has clearly chosen to leave. True strength is allowing life to unfold while continuing your own journey. During separation, both people may discover things they could not see before. You may understand your mistakes. You may recognize the value of communication, patience, respect, or emotional maturity. Sometimes you only understand the importance of a person when you are no longer surrounded by their presence. But distance also teaches another important lesson. Not every person who leaves is meant to return. Sometimes separation brings clarity because it shows you that the connection was not healthy or right for your life. And accepting that truth is also growth. However, when two people have a meaningful connection, time and distance can sometimes create greater understanding. They may grow separately, learn important lessons, and eventually see each other with clearer eyes. The important thing is not to force the outcome. Do not chase destiny. Do not lose yourself trying to bring someone back. Use the distance to become stronger. Build your own peace. Learn from the experience. Continue moving forward. Because if a connection is truly worth rebuilding, it will require more than missing each other. It will require growth, honesty, and two people who are willing to choose something healthier than what existed before. A strong connection cannot survive for long if both people refuse to grow. Feelings may be powerful, memories may be beautiful, and the desire to be together may feel real, but none of these things can create a healthy relationship when emotional maturity is missing. Sometimes two people care deeply for each other, yet they are not ready for the responsibility that love requires. One person may be afraid of opening their heart because of past pain. Another may struggle with trust, communication, or insecurity. Small misunderstandings can become large problems when people do not know how to manage their emotions. Instead of speaking honestly, they may become silent. Instead of listening, they may react. Instead of taking responsibility, they may blame each other. This is where separation can sometimes become a period of growth. When you are no longer focused on changing the other person, you finally have the opportunity to look at yourself. You begin to ask difficult questions. Why did I react that way? Why was I so afraid? Why did I allow my emotions to control my decisions? What patterns do I continue to repeat? These questions can be uncomfortable, but they are necessary. Real growth begins when you stop believing that every problem was caused by someone else. This does not mean accepting blame for things you did not do. It means having the courage to recognize your own weaknesses and take responsibility for improving them. You cannot force another person to grow. You cannot convince someone to become emotionally ready. And you cannot love someone so deeply that they suddenly become the person you need them to be. Growth must be a personal decision. Sometimes life separates two people because each person has lessons to learn independently. During that time, they may become stronger, wiser, and more aware of themselves. They may learn how to communicate without attacking, how to love without controlling, and how to create boundaries without building emotional walls. If they ever meet again, the most important question is not whether they still have feelings. The real question is whether they have changed. Because a second chance with the same mindset often creates the same ending. But when two people have genuinely grown, they may finally be capable of building what they could not build before. Real connection becomes stronger when two people stop expecting each other to be perfect and instead take responsibility for becoming better. Every meaningful connection teaches you something. Some lessons are beautiful, while others arrive through disappointment, confusion, distance, and pain. But if you are willing to look deeply enough, every important relationship can reveal something about who you are, what you need, and what you must change. Sometimes a person enters your life and teaches you how deeply you are capable of loving. Another person may teach you the importance of boundaries. Someone else may show you the difference between being genuinely loved and simply being emotionally attached. The lesson is not always about the other person. Often, the greatest lesson is about yourself. You may begin to recognize patterns that you never noticed before. Perhaps you always remain silent when something hurts you because you are afraid of conflict. Perhaps you constantly chase people because you fear being abandoned. Maybe you give too much of yourself and expect others to make you feel whole. These realizations can be painful, but they are also powerful. A difficult connection can become a mirror. It can show you the parts of yourself that still need healing, attention, and understanding. Instead of spending all your energy asking, why did this person do this to me? Try asking, what is this experience teaching me about myself? That question can change your perspective. You stop seeing every painful experience only as a loss. You begin to understand that growth can come from situations you never wanted to experience. The goal is not to glorify pain or accept unhealthy treatment. You should never believe that someone has the right to disrespect you simply because they are teaching you a lesson. The lesson is not the pain itself. The lesson is what you choose to understand after the pain. Perhaps you learn to speak honestly. Perhaps you learn to walk away when your peace is constantly being destroyed. Perhaps you discover that loving someone should never require you to abandon your self-respect. Every experience can either make you bitter or make you wiser. The choice often depends on whether you are willing to reflect instead of simply reacting. When you truly learn the lesson, you stop repeating the same cycle. You become more aware, more emotionally mature, and more capable of recognizing what is healthy for your life and whether that person remains, returns, or becomes only a memory. The wisdom you gained can remain with you forever. Sometimes two people meet at the wrong moment in their lives. The connection may feel meaningful, the feelings may be real, and yet the circumstances are not ready to support a healthy relationship. One person may still be carrying pain from the past. Another may be focused on personal struggles, responsibilities, or fears they have not yet learned to face. Timing can influence the choices people make. A person may care deeply for someone and still not know how to handle the connection. Fear can cause people to run from what they truly value. Insecurity can create distance. Emotional immaturity can turn simple problems into painful endings. This is why not every separation means the connection was meaningless. Sometimes people need time apart to understand themselves. They need to experience life, face their own mistakes, and discover what they truly want. During that time, they may gain the maturity that was missing when they were together. And sometimes life creates another opportunity. They may unexpectedly meet again. A conversation may begin after a long period of silence, or circumstance may bring them back into each other's lives when neither person expected it. But returning is not enough. A second chance only becomes meaningful when something has changed. If two people return with the same fears, the same communication problems, and the same unhealthy patterns, they may simply repeat the same painful story. The question is not only, do we still have feelings for each other? The deeper question is, are we now capable of creating something healthier? Have both people learned from the past? Can they communicate with greater honesty? Can they listen without constantly becoming defensive? Can they respect each other's boundaries and take responsibility for their actions? These are the things that determine whether a new beginning can truly be different. Never return to someone simply because you miss the memories. Memories can be beautiful, but they cannot guarantee a healthy future. Look at who both of you are now. Look at actions, not only words. Sometimes the right person may come back into your life at a better time. But if that happens, do not try to recreate the past. Build something new. A meaningful reunion is not about going backward. It is about two people meeting again with more wisdom, greater clarity, and the willingness to create a better path together. Real love is not simply about having strong feelings for someone. Feelings can be powerful, but feelings is alone cannot build a lasting and healthy relationship. Love becomes meaningful when two people consciously choose to respect, understand, support, and grow with each other. Sometimes people believe that if two individuals are truly meant to be together, everything will happen effortlessly. But real relationships still require communication, patience, compromise, and responsibility. Even two people who deeply care about each other can experience misunderstandings, disagreements, and difficult seasons. What matters is how they respond when those moments arrive. Conscious choice means choosing to communicate instead of disappearing. It means choosing honesty instead of manipulation. It means listening instead of immediately defending yourself. It means respecting the other person's boundaries instead of trying to control their decisions. And most importantly, it means choosing each other without losing yourself. You should never have to destroy your peace, values, dignity, or identity just to keep someone in your life. Love should not require you to constantly prove your worth. It should not make you feel that you must chase someone simply to receive basic attention or respect. A healthy connection is built by two people who willingly participate. If one person is constantly making the effort while the other remains distant, that is not balance. If one person is always apologizing while the other refuses to take responsibility, that is not emotional maturity. And if one person must repeatedly sacrifice their happiness just to keep the relationship alive, something needs to change. Real love gives both people the freedom to be themselves while creating a shared space where both can feel respected and valued. This is why destiny should never become an excuse to ignore reality. You can believe that someone is important to your life while still recognizing that a healthy relationship requires mutual effort. Two people may have an extraordinary connection, but they still have to choose what they do with it. They must choose patience when emotions become intense. They must choose understanding when differences appear. They must choose growth when old habits return. And sometimes the most loving choice is to walk away when the relationship consistently destroys your peace. If two people truly want to build a life together, their actions will eventually reflect that desire. They will not simply talk about love. They will demonstrate it through consistency, respect, honesty, and effort, because in the end, love is not only about finding someone you feel deeply connected to. It is about finding two people who are willing to consciously build something worthy of that connection. When two people have the potential to build something meaningful after being apart, one of the clearest signs is not simply that they return to each other, it is that they return with a different level of peace, clarity, and maturity. Time can change perspective. Distance can create understanding. Experiences can teach lessons that emotions could not teach before. When people spend time apart, they may begin to understand what went wrong, what they truly value, and what they need to do differently. This kind of growth changes the way people approach relationships. Instead of reacting immediately, they learn to pause. Instead of assuming, they ask questions. Instead of turning every disagreement into a battle, they learn how to communicate. Instead of demanding constant reassurance, they begin developing confidence within themselves. That is what maturity looks like. A healthy reunion should not feel like returning to the same cycle. It should feel like two people creating a new chapter with greater awareness. There may still be disagreements. There may still be difficult moments. No relationship becomes perfect simply because two people have grown. But the way they handle those moments can become completely different. There is less confusion, less chasing, less emotional games, more honesty, more consistency, more respect, and more willingness to understand each other. When people truly grow, they stop trying to control the outcome. They understand that love cannot be forced. They allow the other person to have their own choices, emotions, boundaries, and individuality. This creates a different kind of connection, one based not on fear of losing each other, but on the freedom to consciously choose each other. You also begin to notice that real maturity is visible through actions. Someone may say that they have changed, but genuine transformation appears in the way they behave consistently over time. Their communication becomes healthier, their promises become more reliable, their responses become calmer. This is why you should never judge a second chance only by emotions. Look at the behavior, look at the consistency, look at the peace you experience around the person. If a connection returns and both people feel more secure, respected, and understood, then perhaps the experience has created something valuable. But if the same confusion, disrespect, manipulation, or emotional instability returns, then the lesson may be to finally let go. Sometimes the greatest sign of growth is not that two people stay together. It is that both people become strong enough to choose what is healthy. And when two people can meet again with peace instead of desperation, clarity instead of confusion, and maturity instead of fear, they have a much stronger foundation for something meaningful. The real transformation is not simply finding each other again. It is finding yourselves first and then consciously deciding whether walking together still makes sense.